put a variety on her plate for her to try as well. And again, the servers will come and ask you what you want, and they'll put everything on your plate that you want as well. Do you have a question or a statement? Okay. So you guys can get a variety. You've got plates and bowls in case you want like puddings or the whatevers. So a little bit of everything or a lot of one thing. It's totally up to you guys. What you guys want to get.
Probably look at whatever's on Lemon's plate and say, I'm going to try some of that.
She has a little bit of a variety. She's got a few different things. She's got a couple of like different cheesecakes and a little bit of a cake. And it looks like a little pile of like a little pudding. So she's got like probably.
Start small.
She got like four wedges of different types of like cakes and cheesecakes, and then like a little what looks like a pudding as well. She doesn't eat all of it. She takes probably a couple of bites of each one, and then that's it.
Well, don't continue sucking on a chicken bone.
Did we get a pickle box?
She chews and eats the chicken bone.
We should have got the bag of holding for leftover.
I told you, but no. We had to talk to Lemon first.
All right. So if you guys are done with small talk or no?
I'm just kind of quiet, just observing the whole thing.
Okay. So you guys can finish dessert, and eventually the servers will come in and remove everything, and then you see Lemon.
I do have a small thought question.
Yes, sir.
The yawning portal. Does anybody have any clue if most of it's been explored and played out or mapped, or no, nobody has a clue, or just a few adventurers?
Well, if you know anything about the lore, then you already know, and if not, then allow me to enlighten you just a bit. Durnan was the originator and the founder of the Yawning Portal. He was the first, and his partner were the first individuals to ever survive and return from the portal in which you speak of, that the tavern is built around. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've seen it. And that is what brought him his fortune, both of them. Allowed them to retire.
Partner's name?
The DM will have to research because he forgot.
The DM will get back to you on that.
The DM will have to get back to you on that one because I used to know, but I have forgotten. But there is a legit name that I can tell you. I don't remember.
That's fine.
But she would say, it's blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember. But she would say it was so-and-so. And so she continues with, over the many, many years since Durnan's original return, there have been some adventurers that have delved into the depths and returned, but the number is still very, very small. Does that appease your question?
Thank you.
Okay. So as far as having mapped it all, absolutely not. There's definitely no accounting for every turn, nook, crook, and cranny in there. If everybody is sufficed with food, then shall we retire to the den and let's get on with some business, maybe?
Sounds good. Excellent.
She puts her hands on the table and she stands up. And then she exits in the hallway, the door that you guys initially came in. And she tells you guys, just follow me. As she opens the door herself. Right? There's could be somebody that opened, but she's like, no, I got it. She opens up her own door. She continues farther down the hallway, the opposite direction that you guys came, continuing farther away. And instead of turning right this time, she opens the door that's on the left. And it opens up, and it's not as big as the huge dining room that you were in, but still like really big sized room. And very similar to kind of like what you saw, but a bigger, a more comfortable, more lavish version of what you guys just had at the Yawning Portal. It's like a sitting room, big, comfortable, soft, overstuffed chairs, fireplace going, rugs on the floors, lanterns lit. There's on one wall like a bookshelf. Looks like it has some books on there as well. Each of the chairs, as you sit down, has like a little tables next to it. There's cups on there. And you guys notice that there is a little ashtray on every one of them and a little cigar next to there. And she says, somebody said that you guys were enjoying cigars, so I had some provided for you for after dinner, should you choose to partake. We don't do that here.
He didn't even do it. No.
I did it to myself.
So she
It's
knows.
like this.
So however you want to take it, she realizes something that you guys have done, and she has tried to provide it as a offering for you.
She's extremely gracious host.
He has eyes everywhere.
That's the other thing.
That's
too.
my
that's what you got.
my take.
That was my take
I will
as well.
naively not get that and just say, like being
I mean,
You don't have to
Trust
be
me, I
smart.
know.
You just have to be wise to understand exactly what that told us.
as
Yeah,
someone who has spent
not
time
quite
in
there
jail, trust me, I know.
Now, what's kind of interesting too is that there's like a good-sized table in the middle. It's like you guys all have chairs kind of like around like a semicircle almost. And then there's a wall on the opposite side of the semicircle that is the fireplace. And in the middle, there's like an oversized coffee table. It's like lower to the ground, but it's bigger than a normal coffee table. But it kind of makes sense because the room is bigger as well. But what you notice is that there is a cloth draped over the top of it, and there's lots of bumps underneath it. So there's a bunch
Probably
of
a diorama or something.
There's a bunch
to
of
illustrate a
somethings.
bunch of points.
on this table that is being covered by some type of cloth. And as you guys all sit, she takes her seat, and as you guys all sit down, and she tells you all, well, you do understand that I am looking to offer you all a job, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
I did.
And having partook in the competition, I'm assuming you guys are willing to accept.
I mean,
It's difficult to say no to the open Lord of Waterdeep, in her own home especially.
And you are the one they call Locke, correct?
That's correct.
It's a very nice observation, sir. Well, with that, I do need to make sure mention that anything that we talk about remains in the utmost confidence, confidential. We do not speak of our missions to anyone outside of this room. Is that clear and understood?
100%.
Yes, sir.
Would you designate someone to come and talk to us, or no, it'll be straight to you? And if you did, how do we know we're supposed to talk to them? Just, yeah.
A secret hand sign?
I have means of being able to communicate with you from a distance.
So you'd be able to tell us, talk to this person. I just wanted to
Yes.
get that.
And we would know it's you.
Well, as long as you can recognize my voice again, I guess.
Do you have a secret word?
The voice can be faked, can it not?
Magically,
Not a
maybe.
voice as lovely as hers.
How about we have a safe word? Pancake.
Wilbin, I'm gonna have to talk to you later.
Hmm.
Perhaps a different safe word, but that is a...
How about lemon?
Well, I feel like lemon might be a little bit too on the nose.
Are we gonna spend it talking about what the safe word?
Are we gonna spend 20 minutes finding out Rumpelstiltskin's the safe word?
Perhaps if you were to ask
Brown
about
baked
my,
beans.
perhaps if you were to ask about my familiar Remy as an opening, that would be a way to confirm that it was from you. And I'm gonna pull Remy out of my pocket.
You mean this guy?
Just pull him out of my pocket. Just ask.
She gives a little bit of a. Oh, that's.
He's a good boy.
He's a clean one, yes.
He's a
I'll
magical.
cast prestidigitation to clean him
He's
up.
a magical
If he
one.
is, I'm sorry.
He's a magical one, and I'm gonna poof him out of existence. And
Okay.
Summon him back.
Okay. I just prefer everything to be clean and
Of course.
germ
Of
free.
course.
Good. Okay. Remy.
Remy. Just mention Remy. and-
Remy. Okay. There we go. Remy. So, as I said, By means of some of my employees, I have the ability to reach out and speak to you wherever you may be. Now, of course, that's not something that I could do myself, but being in this seat does give me privileges that most people don't have access to.
Access to resources.
Absolutely. With that, now that we know that confidentiality is of the utmost importance, let me explain to you a little bit of what we are trying to accomplish. I need your team, the A team. I'm sorry, what was that?
Nothing, sorry. I've got a bit of a problem with my horn here.
Oh, you're horny? You're horny there?
No, my actual horn.
Okay.
By the way, every time I've been doing that, it's actually a horn that I have.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Likes to blow his own horn.
Well,
Pardon me, Your Highness.
there are some items that I need you to help retrieve for me. These are very, very long lost items that we have been researching to try to find the locations of. I've gone to great lengths to try to identify them and their locations. So this will be a multi-process endeavor for you. I can tell you now that I do not have all of the locations. However, I do have the first one in which I need you guys to
Proceed with great haste.
Retrieve.
that I need you guys to make progress towards and investigate and find, identify, retrieve, and return to me. What you will be looking for will look like a piece of a broken stick. It will be a piece of a staff, a very special staff in which I need all of the pieces returned. There are 7 pieces, best we can tell thus far. The first piece that you will be retrieving for me will be located in a place called the Marsh of Chalimber. Chalimber. And as she...
Chilember, like Chilember.
Yep. And as she pulls out a map...
Little flourish, the cover comes off the table.
This is not... The table is still covered.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear.
She says, here we are in Waterdeep. And the Marsh of Chalimber is here.
Week's March.
And she tells you, with the research that we have done, you have a choice of paths to get there. You could cross the river, go into the Misty Forest, and then go through the High Moor, and then get on your way into the marsh. That could be a bit problematic. You could try to travel the river up north. There is a lake that butts up to the mountainside. You would have to traverse across the lake. Research tells us most people avoid this lake for the dangers that are within it. Should you choose to face those, that would be up to you. The other path you could take might be the easiest. You could follow the road south, going down past the Serpent Hills. The best method would be to cross... Oh, where'd it go? Narja, the Forest of Worm. Yep, coming down through here.
That's too far south, isn't it?
You wouldn't want to go into the Forest of Worms. There is a dragon that lives there. Now, what's interesting is all of the space in between here, Narja, we have found, incorporates the Serpent Hills, Narja, the forest, and all the way up to the edges of the marsh as well. This is ruled by, now I'm blanking on it, as the DM, I'm blanking on the name of them.
Some other dragon
The-
or some other person?
The snake people.
Oh, you want
Yantis.
Okay.
It is ruled by Yuantis, this entire territory here. So the best method, if you wanted to take that route, would be go past the Forest of Worms. There are some hills just to the south of there. That is where it would be safe. There are gnomes that own those hills. They would be less dangerous. You could make your way through the hills. However, at that point, you would have to cross Yuanti territory in order
To
to
get up
get
into the
to the marsh.
That would be a
Um,
limited amount of duration, is that correct?
Less exposure.
By comparison.
The best we can tell, yes. However, the windy part of the river is probably the most likely location for their temple.
Did you say the river snakes about?
It does. You're a smart
Gonna
one,
hurt
aren't
you
you?
later.
You're a smart one, aren't you?
I'm getting it.
Taurus. Where it is the most snaky is probably
I'm getting it.
Slither back to your seat.
Yeah.
where it is most snaky is probably where you would find the most guarded territory, because that is probably closest to where their temple is. However, if you are able to stealthily make it through there,
Stealthily.
oh my god, then you could get to the marsh. So those would be probably the most obvious choices. Go down around to the south route, try to charge straight through the Serpent Hills, which is not recommended. Trying to go through the forest and the high moor, or try to go around and just try to cross the lake.
Do we know what the dangers are in the lake?
In the lake, rumors are that there is a force, a deity, a being, a something that is in that lake. They once called it a lady of the lake that would draw people to the lake and also to their dooms.
They lob scimitars at people and put them in charge of places.
Ladies and lakes is nowhere.
So we're not quite sure.
Farcical
That.
ceremony.
And we can either take a quick pause, or I'm going to be right back, but I'm going to go check on something. I'll be back in like 45 seconds.
Pause.
Quick pause. All right.
Okay, we'll be back in a few minutes.
Cool.
Are we live?
We are live.
Are we on the internet?
Let's see.
as,
We did have some
Find out.
serious
As-
technical
We had
issues, but
aspirations.
as Brian Foster would say, are we on the internet? Slash.
we're on the interweb. Yes,
On the internet. We had issues. Are we good?
we're okay now. We did have some serious.
Oh my
some
gosh.
serious issues.
Just with the
stream. It
with
was
the
a-
Twitch, but Facebook will be good to go.
Facebook will not be good to go because we don't do it on Facebook. YouTube.
Oh,
will be
YouTube.
hopefully,
Yes, YouTube. Was YouTube?
I hope so.
I
We'll
don't
see.
know. We'll figure it out. So, anyways, so as she's discussing those, and you guys did ask like some more questions, she tells you about a little bit more details about where'd it go? Is that the Forest of the Worms?
Yeah.
She tells you a little bit more about the Forest of the Worms as you ask. She tells you that the Yuan-Tis are... They try to be civilized in like trade. However, their trade is in slavery. So they will purchase slavery, and then typically within that forest is where anybody trying to sell them will actually meet them. If you delve too deep into the forest, it is rumored that it is protected by a dragon, whom I haven't met. However, I have heard of people trying to skirt the edge of the forests, being successful as long as they were sneaky enough, because there are tall redwoods as amongst the pines that create a nice dark canopy underneath, a nice dark forest floor underneath of the canopy. That makes it a little bit easier to hide in shadows and dark amongst the redwood trunks. But this would be a decision you guys would have to make.
Lemon, tell me about how does Waterdeep feel about the Yuan-Ti and the slave trade? Is that something that you just tolerate, or
Well,
would you like to see it?
Prior to me taking rule, many years past, the Yuan-Tis were trying to claim territory, and the history books tell us that there was a time that both Waterdeep and Baldur's Gate united together in order to combat these Yuan-Tis. The debate was amongst territorial areas and locations, which just ultimately proved the Yuan-Tis' point. They didn't care about winning or losing any battle, but the simple fact that the rest of us now acknowledged that there was a border that they owned allowed them to have a border that they owned.
So, besides the political and territorial issues of where the Yuan-Ti are now, the slave trade itself is not something it's accepted, but it is not encouraged. That's if that was no longer working well, that would be beneficial to Waterdeep, would it not?
Your mission is not to stop the slave trade. Your mission is to get to the marsh and to find this item.
Yes, Lemon, I understand.
What is the item
Might we ask?
besides just a part of
A
the
staff.
Does it have a name?
You will be able to identify it as just one of the pieces of the staff that I need. I need all the pieces so that I can
we'll have
reunite
some
this
sort of picture or
so I
something,
can
or it'll be
reunite this
described to us.
staff.
Okay.
We don't have photos or drawings or images of what it does look like. All we do know is that the staff was separated into at least 7 pieces and separated amongst the world. So this is one of the locations that we've narrowed at least one of the pieces down to. We're continuing to do research every single day.
Any reason why it was separated? Something too powerful to be kept together for a long period of time? Or?
All I need you to worry about is bringing them to me.
I might say, if we trust that Miss Lemon is on the side of good, then perhaps if this item is dangerous, then it would be better to have it in the hands of someone like Miss Lemon than in the hands of someone who perhaps might use it for a slave trade or for a dragon who might attempt to claim more power than is due to them.
Well, thank you, Mr. Locke. Nicely said.
Is the staff held by the Yuan-Ti in the swamp, or is it simply in that area?
As best we know, the Yuan-Ti don't even know it exists. The Yuan-Tis, it just happens to be part of their territory. Now, the swamps aren't necessarily their favorite terrain, especially since they have the temple that's right off of the lake or off of the river. But it is still within the edges of their territory, so they definitely could be in the swamp.
They might assert ownership if they discover we're there.
Absolutely. When you're behind enemy lines, enemies can do what they want. Which is why I need the best adventurers like yourselves.
It's the 18.
The 18.
The 18.
Ms. Lemon, do you have any? Would your Griffin riders have any kind of possible help for us? You know, a way to get us into the area faster?
Oh, I appreciate your assertiveness. However, if we were to send the famous griffins from Waterdeep into the area of this territory by the Yuan-Tis, they would clearly see it as an attack from Waterdeep on them.
Well met.
It was definitely not something that we could do, which is why I'm asking you guys to be as subtle as possible in acquiring this item and accomplishing your mission. However, I do want you to succeed. So I do have some options for you. Now I do see that you seem to be carrying some items that already belong to me. That quiver. Open up that front pouch.
Okay.
And as you open it up and you look inside, you see a symbol in there. The symbol, as you look at, you've seen before. That is a symbol from the maker that I hired to make that quiver.
Where did I get this quiver?
That quiver was given to a single adventurer that thought that she was good enough to get some of the research for us, but apparently she hasn't returned, and apparently you have found her and taken her quiver, haven't you?
It's hard on her. She was captured by spiders.
So you do know of her.
We met her brother.
So I'm assuming that she is no more?
Correct.
Unfortunately.
She perished.
Did you gather her other items as well?
That's very
Yes.
weird.
Because we gave her more than just this quiver.
I believe this wand of secrets.
That we did not give her. That must have been something she found on her own. But there were other items.
Bracers?
Yes.
Archery?
Yes.
Yes.
And what else did you guys have?
Reading pants.
Wasn't there at least something else? One or two more things?
Oh, no. Don't look at me.
Damien had the
Damien
quiver.
might.
Damien
Yeah,
has some.
She might. Doesn't she have the
So-
plentiful quiver?
Yeah.
I thought you have the quiver.
No, I just have
Oh, so
No,
Damien has the
Damien
quiver?
has the quiver.
So Damien has the
Yeah.
quiver, archers, the wand, she says, was separate, but wasn't there like boots or something too?
Boots of Elven Speed, or
No? Okay.
If,
I wouldn't know.
no.
I'll
If
take-
so, it
I'll
would have been
take the
David.
quiver.
We didn't have anything.
So-
we didn't have anything in party loot. It was all
So,
divided.
so Lemon asks you, she goes, well, as upright citizens as you are, I'm assuming you'd be willing to give these items back to their rightful owners? And she asks for the quiver and for the bracers.
You know, I didn't bring the quiver.
she didn't because she left her stuff there. I'm wearing all my
That's true.
stuff.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
But yes, okay.
Well,
My people have...
I would assume she knows, though.
We
if she's
saw
seen
this
us walking
quiver
around.
while you were battling.
Okay.
And if you were to open that front pouch, does it have the
Damien
mark?
had the quiver, though, right?
Yeah, Damien.
So
had
Damien
the
probably
quiver.
So
Damien has to have
But
the quiver.
bracers.
But yes, I mean. But would you be able to give us similar help that you gave the?
So she takes the quiver and she takes the bracers in her hand and she takes and she grabs the corner of the cloth. She throws it open and she puts the quiver on the table and she puts the bracers on the table. And also along the table,
Oh, dear.
you see a smattering of items.
Oh.
You see a staff of withering. You see a magical lyre. You see an iron bands. You see a javelin of lightning. You see a mantle of spell resistance. A ring of evasion. You see a ring of the ram. You see a bag of beans. You see a cloak of protection. An immovable rod. An arrow-catching shield. A cap of water breathing. A dagger of venom. And...
Holy moly!
she puts the sheep back.
she tells you, now, clearly, I can't allow you to have all of these items, but should each of you find something to your liking, including the bracers of archery and the quiver, I'd be more than happy to allow each of you to choose what you feel would be most useful for you.
I like the quiver and the cloak, maybe.
Oh, one.
Are
Not
we
two.
choosing one item? I think I perhaps would like the dagger of venom.
I was thinking dagger would be right up your alley.
I think that I do like my daggers.
What
My
do-
eyes like light up as I
What
see a
What
dagger.
do bags of beans do?
Well, if you
What's the
empty
staff
out-
of withering?
empty out the bag of
Yeah.
beans contents onto the
Sort of like
ground,
that.
it will make an 10-foot explosion of fire. It would incorporate yourself in that explosion as well. There would be a
Necrotic.
saving throw against it, but also, should you take one of these beans and should you plant it into the ground and water it a minute later, something would grow. That growth is random, and you must ask your dungeon master what it is that was produced after he makes a dice roll.
Can I throw it?
That's what she
Can
says
I
in
throw
here.
it from the air and not?
No.
Not the other?
Has to be.
I mean, here, you can...
I think Damien will probably take that Leah. That would be my assumption. So we can take one of these items. I think I might go with the dagger. It does require an action to use. And I would assume that if we are to go the UNT route, that a dagger of venom would be a little bit less effective against them. Perhaps I would prefer to take one of the
Tough to
defensive
read these
items.
from-
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to pick them up, guys.
Yes,
What-
I might go for the immovable rod.
That's an excellent.
pretty
That's
I
very
think
good.
I think that would be entertaining to use. Although I do think
Protection I'd like too.
if we
As the,
I think a movable rod might be my item of choice, but if we are not going the UNT route, that dagger of venom, I would also like something for my defenses.
and as the pally, I'm looking at the cloak of protection or the arrow catching shield. So
Oh, I thought you meant like that javelin lightning. You got
that
javelin.
looks pretty cool too, but it looks cool, but it's ranged, right? I'm gonna get well.
120 feet?
You can
Yeah.
use it for pointing.
Is this a one-time use?
Which
The bag of beans?
Yeah, if you plant the beans, there's only so many beans to start with. But if you plant them all, they runs out. But no, you can. I'm gonna say you can do the explosion over and over
and
again.
we are going into the if we are going into the lake, then I would prefer that one of us take this cap of water breathing.
I can turn into a shark.
You can turn
You
into
can turn into a
You can-
shark,
I can fly.
I think I might be.
and you can fly. Oh,
You can fly.
wait, your Belladonna can fly. You can fly.
Can I ride her now? What level?
For flight.
You have to read the stats. Does it? I thought it was sixth at
I
sixth
think
level.
I will be getting the evasion fairly soon anyway.
Is it-
Ring of
So-
the Ram is pretty cool too.
Ring of the
Those
Ram?
are good.
I think
If,
I would be.
um,
There was a dragon in those. Maybe
I
the
do
ram.
think I will be going for the
Belladonna,
immovable
the Ring of the
rod.
Ram.
I think I will be taking this
That's
immovable
Tracy.
rod.
You can do the ring.
I think we're gonna go
sure,
for it. I would rather be the creative. I feel like I am having something to grab onto in times of need will be more beneficial than.
So, just by the way, I had to try to because I don't have magic cards, so I had to custom try to like type these and
Yeah.
like,
What's the,
import images onto them for
javelin
you guys.
lightning? That
you. It's a javelin
You
and
can-
it
you
shoots
can-
lightning.
You can throw it and then
Yeah.
it turns into a lightning bolt.
It's like a line. It's like a weaker version
yeah.
of the lightning
Lightning
bolt
bolt.
spell, and the spell save DC is kind of low, but it's a cool item.
Even if the lightning doesn't hit it,
46 lightning.
Still-
it can
Damn
it,
it.
on top
46
of
on top
the,
of
on
your
top
javelin.
of the javelin damage.
Yeah. Isn't it a line
Yeah.
of targets?
Yeah.
So
all of the targets
Yeah.
except for
However-
you and the target would have to do a save, and then they would all take lightning damage if they fail. Plus the target, if it gets hit, would take the javelin damage and the lightning damage.
my
Right.
only concern is that there might be creatures that have resistance to non-magical weapons,
Which means you need
which
a
means I
magical
might
weapon.
need a magical weapon to be able to deal my.
Well, the
my-
dagger.
Daggers.
I do.
Look at you guys thinking this out and trying to get
I
smart
think,
on me.
I think I might be having to go with this dagger of venom. 2d10 poison damage is pretty good, but I will be probably. I'll have to code it before combat. Just a +1 is quite good though, and with the magic, I think I'm gonna. I know I'm so torn.
This is good that I made stuff you guys can't decide
I'm
on.
so
I like
So
it.
no.
What do you guys think about the iron bands of Valaro?
It's pretty
Perfect
fucking.
if we
I
It's
would
pretty
love
fucking
fight a
cool.
dragon.
I would love to have them in the party. I don't think they would be my choice.
I
No.
could take it.
Entangling other creatures is always good
Oh,
to keep
very
them
good.
That's in the-
right.
it's in the
I have
rules.
mobility and I could toss
It's-
it.
It's
You
in
know,
the rules somewhere. Always bring an extra pair of hands.
Crowd control and suppression is key to focusing
Is it
firepower
really?
on
Yeah, I
one or
think
two
it
targets
is.
and
I always
taking
thought it
them
was a
out
good
and
idea.
moving
It's a
on.
ring of
Perfect.
evasion.
Well, it was a bounty hunter.
Everybody okay with me
That,
taking
that
this?
and rope. Yes,
Yeah.
take it. That's great.
What
It
do
was
you
an
lean
outstanding
towards?
item for us.
Between
Rick-
three things: the Ring of the Ram,
Uh-huh.
Mantle of Spell Resistance, and Immovable Rod.
Nice.
Rule 58. Bring an extra pair of hands.
What about Bard, by the way? Magical Lyre,
I think
Immovable
liar.
Rod.
I
Probably
think
the
the
magic.
liar.
Liar?
Liar.
That's the safest bet, I think.
Yeah.
I will
I
be
mean, we
taking
can-
the dagger. I think I've made my decision.
We could let Damien choose.
What do you?
Yeah.
What do you?
I'm
No,
gonna
I
like.
need you guys to choose for Damien
Oh.
tonight.
Okay.
It's either Cloak of Protection, Arrow Casting Shield, or Ring of Evasion.
Or the
Ring of Evasion is
or
good
the-
if I'm like, in front of everyone and I gotta protect myself.
Yeah, if you get
Fail-
knocked down or something.
If I fail a deck save, I can succeed instead, and I don't have a very high deck, so.
I think that might be good for you then.
And
Hey,
then
what,
there's
what's the
Cloak-
size of your decks?
I see
The
my
size of
flaws
my
just
deck
as
is a
big as
full
mine.
10.
I do think the arrow catch is
So
It's a full 11.
Oh.
So you mean it's less than a foot?
Yeah.
Just barely above average.
11. It's almost a foot.
I am just concerned that we may not be facing creatures that'll be shooting a lot of arrows at
Yeah,
us.
that's what I'm looking at.
And that doesn't work against spell attacks.
No. So
I think the cloak is
I think the
generically
cloak-
powerful.
a
or
cloak
the-
is generically an extra +1 AC. Ring of Evasion is good if I'm getting the deck saving
The
throws. And
liar
I'm gonna load
is really good.
The liar is good for
I
Damien.
like the
For a
cloak
gal-
too.
for a
I
pally?
think that's the
Oh, no, for
obvious
Damien.
one.
for Damien, totally. Yeah.
I think Damien, the
What does
obvious
it do?
choice is
The bag of
liar.
beans is
catch
actually the
a bunch of
coolest
I will-
Flavor item.
fun item, right? It's like a weak deck of mini cards.
Fly and is
Um,
it
Kind
kind
of.
of
For the liar, is it once per spell or once for any of the spells and then?
Per spell. You can't do the same spell twice.
Or you can do.
Each
One
spell.
of each.
Ooh.
That's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
really cool.
so basically, Damien
Yeah.
adding all those spells, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
we
think
should
so.
give
Those
that
are
to
all
Damien.
outstanding spells from
Yeah.
what I read. I didn't really give it much of a look because I wasn't
Yeah,
going to
they're
take it.
Wall
if
of
they-
Fire.
Yep.
Wall of Oh, jeez. Did I see fly on there?
Yeah.
So, but
Invisibility.
Damien is going to be gone soon.
Is Damien? Hey, I mean,
So
She's
am I.
going to school.
Yep.
Yeah.
we were talking about. I have
I
some.
guess I
people.
should bring this up too.
I might be able to bring.
2 weeks from today, I'm not joining.
So next session you're not here? Good God.
Oh, dear.
people.
Perhaps we can do a little side quest.
Ooh, yeah.
What are
Do
you
some
doing?
more shopping.
Sidequests.
What are you doing?
Go to Grand Canyon.
Oh my!
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Wow.
supposed to do
It's a
that
big hole
either
in the
next
ground.
week or 3 weeks from now.
It's a big hole in the ground.
Okay.
It is wonderful. I've been There's
I've
a
been there.
place for the
It's
sunrise.
just the fact that we could get a campsite. No,
Oh, you
it's
guys got the
campsite.
campsite. Yeah, yeah.
You gotta basically choose the
Just
campsite.
do like
then
we are.
decide-
The kids are literally in the backyard in a tent right now
Oh, that's cute.
for Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
That will be
that's good.
So I'd also
So-
just go finish with you. Go
I
ahead.
think forget about the arrow casing shield, the cloak of protection, or ring of evasion. If I have to choose one of the two, ring of evasion would be better. I think.
I think evasion.
Think.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a
Then,
pretty
then
little
I
hummingbird on
lean
your
towards the
finger.
Sorry?
cloak.
Pretty
just-
little hummingbird on your
What
finger.
are the two
Cloak over the
rods?
Mantle of Spell Resistance.
What's that?
What are
The
the
spell
two-
resistance. I thought someone
you know?
else.
What
If we
are
have
the
some
rods?
people that are
What
going to be
is-
in the front.
This
And
one's
move
javelin
think-
of lightning.
Here,
Someone
let her
with
read
an
it.
already
And
good
the
armor
immovable-
class.
Javelin
Somebody
of
with a good
lightning.
armor class.
Give it to her so she can
My
hear.
plan is to be up and then to be not up, if
Well, I've
possible.
only got a
Movable
16
rod is
armor
awesome.
class.
It's
And so,
pretty cool.
cloak of protection might bump that up a little bit more.
Can we have two things?
Well, sweetie, right now,
Can Belladonna
until you've
have a thing?
until you've proven yourself more, I think it'd be best for you to pick the most appropriate one item for yourself now.
Can Belladonna have a thing?
Well, my understanding is she's a beautiful, vicious dragon. She doesn't need anything, does she?
Well, she doesn't, but she likes the beautiful things.
Hmm.
As a dragon does.
She's a dragon.
I think.
Well,
I think the lady Lemon has been more than generous in offering us such an exquisite set of items.
But I thought you liked the
I'm
Mantle of Spell
definitely not
Resistance
happy-
also.
Not
I was thinking about it, but
Which one were you looking at choosing?
So what are you picking?
I'm
You don't
picking
need the water
iron
breathing.
Because
bands of
advantage on
Valaro.
saving throws
Instead
and spells.
instead of the
Yeah.
br-
Instead of the
archers,
quiver.
But it wouldn't
instead
do
of the
anything against
the
area
bracers
effects
of
like
archery.
breath attacks.
I
That's
find
Not-
spell.
that
no,
the
but
bracers
for
of
fireballs.
archery don't
Yeah.
mesh well with my crossbow feet.
Okay, do you
Yeah,
have
if
that
you
card
want
or
to
no?
Wizard or
I
something
do.
throwing fireballs.
So
at
can you
us.
put that on the table then?
Yes.
If you're getting rid of it.
So, It depends. So I think it also does. It might depend on which direction we are going. So I just wanted to clarify the 4 optional paths. So the northmost.
Northmost
So-
is through a
northmost-
lake that has some sort of
Yep.
charming.
Is like a
thing.
lake monster.
Yeah.
The lake.
Potentially. I would rather
the
avoid
lake.
the lake if possible. I'm
Or
not a
you
fan
guys
of
could
both.
try to go through the mountain pass instead.
Lake or mountain.
The mountain pass is known to have stone giants.
Oh dear.
And potentially, there's rumors that beholders used to own a portion of that mountain as well.
I think
Okay.
I'd rather risk the snakes.
I think
Might have to be.
lake is an unknown monster in the lake,
Uh-huh.
or potentially beholders and stone giants. Maybe at a later date if we are required to go there.
I declare.
I do declare.
And then, so the mountains, the lake, and then the other option is
So-
to go through the Misty Forest and the High Moor. The High Moor is less trees, more plains and rolling hills.
Oh dear.
And there are bands of so we've heard orcs as well as ogres live in there. There are
How important is time in this?
That is my question.
That is a valid question.
not as important
No.
as success of the mission.
Perhaps we take
Right.
the southerly route.
So
So
let's just-
research it at Candlekeep.
That would be.
And-
I would like
or
to hear
visit your dad.
the remaining of the routes as well. So we have the lake or the mountains to the north.
Uh-huh.
We have the orcs potential the rolling hills.
The High Moor, yeah.
The High Moor. And that would be potentially orcs and I wrote gnolls, but it says ogres.
And then the next one would be trying to go through the Serpent Hills.
Okay.
Now the Serpent Hills is like red clay hills, and then in between the hills are actually pretty deep cut valleys.
Okay.
The Yuan-Tis, this is their territory. However, we've heard that they don't mostly survey the tops. However, there are many holes that go into their underground layers amongst there, so they could be popping up and out pretty
Anywhere.
Could
Anywhere.
Could the UNT potentially be bargained with or bought
much.
for a safe passage?
If you give them enough slaves, I'm sure they'd be willing to negotiate anything.
Well, perhaps
I would
then the
absolutely
UNT cannot
not be willing to do that.
Perhaps the UNT.
Fine, so.
Although there is a plan forming in my head, but I do not think.
Now this is a powerful
party
item
would
you're
enjoy
looking to
this
find,
plan.
assemble, and build.
We could have some.
Give it-
Pretend to be slaves.
Who else might
Pretend to be
looking
slaves
find,
and then
assemble,
escape.
and build this that we need to be aware of? Because we're
And
going
rest
to
of the slaves
stealthily
over
leave
there
the
would
city.
sound very
Everything's
keen on
fine.
You
doing
just
it.
hired us in front of everybody.
How are
This-
you?
We wear
This
these
thi-
cloaks. We
this
should probably
thing-
not wear them when we leave the
This
city.
thing has been hidden for thousands of years. Nobody else, from our knowledge, even knows its existence at this point.
Of course, of course.
We've done really deep research in order to find this information that we're giving you now. Again, under utmost confidentiality.
I understand.
And then
But if I wanted to find out what you were doing, I'd tail the group you just hired. So we have to think
It's a
about
good
that.
thing that you're professionals. They're not sensitive.
I'm gonna take the immovable rod.
all right.
Nice.
That'll be a fun
Hey, that's what I gave her last night.
one. Immovable.
Thought it was a more like a wand of secrets.
Immovable.
You want a diminution? No.
Pity it didn't move back and forth.
Hey, I did. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you gotta let her do the work.
Lazy SOB.
All right, and then so the southernmost route. What did we decide that was going to be?
If you go
That's
the
quicker,
yeah,
easier.
so
but
actually
we have to cross.
so after
We will
the
have to cross the
hold on.
territory, but less of it.
So after the Serpent Hills was the forest, which we
wanna
already
avoid
talked
that.
about that.
The worm forest, so no.
Of worms, yep. And then past the forest are some more rolling hills. However, the best that we understand is there are what are they called? The short people, the little peoples, the gnomes.
Gnomes?
No.
Gnomes that live and work in here. They're actually mining for gemstones and things. So as long as you're nice to them, they might be able to give you passage through there. However, as soon as you get through there, you either got to cut through the forest or around the forest, and then you're straight into open Yuan-Ti territory. And if you go from there straight to the marsh, you've got a pretty good chance of getting really close to their temple, which would be heavily guarded.
So you think come all the way back around this way?
If you do that, this is Baldur's Gate, right?
Well, I was
These are the mountains that Rowena grew up in.
So it would be quite a long. It would be a longer duration. Of
It would be
journey.
much longer, yeah.
But
Wasn't that from the Forest of Worms? I think it was.
So
I think it
coming
was
back
Forest
from
of
the
Worms.
east going west might be safer. I don't know.
Is
I don't
this
know.
is this whole area
this is
still
all,
not
this,
you?
this is you want. This is
Oh,
all
it's
you
all you
want.
want.
So
By the
we
way,
would-
my mother is in the Forest of Worms.
Oh.
Well, my sister
You
is.
should visit everybody's.
Yeah.
I would
Go
say.
check out mom.
I would probably say we don't want to dawdle too much.
Yeah, sorry.
Can mom help us get through the
I don't know. I haven't talked to mom for a while since I went off to school. I mean,
well, if we're going to be passing, so the gnomes are here or here?
the war.
They are in this little brown spot here.
Okay, so that might skirt us close enough to his mother,
Yeah.
and then it would give
But-
us
I
a
like
shorter
that.
shot towards the marsh. If
And it's closer to Candlekeep. beside it.
If we need to
Again,
make
but
a
she
stop
did. He
there.
did say that to get to the marsh from the edge of the forest is going right through the Yuan-Ti temple, near the Yuan-Ti
Yeah.
temple.
of
So
course.
Well, do we want stone giants, a lady in a lake, orcs?
Yeah,
I'm okay.
No, no,
I'm
no,
okay
no,
with
no,
Yuan-Ti.
no,
I'm
no.
okay with.
The orcs are here. The
orcs
and
and
this-
ogres,
These are going to be Yuan-Tis,
Serpent
and these are
Hills.
going to be a
More-
dragon,
And
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 then
then the
these
gnome, and then the Yuan-Ti temple.
Gnome and Yuan-Ti
So
over here.
I would do my best to avoid
the,
the
Yu-
dragon.
the Yuan-Ti are in all of this
By the Snake
territory.
River.
Right.
All
okay.
of this territory is theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you want to avoid the Yuan-Tis, you got to go more north.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go
I think
south,
goes south.
and then you're going to go through Yuan-Ti territory.
I say
But we could go north and avoid them, and go to the marshes. We just deal with orcs and.
Mm-hmm.
I think the orcs would be maybe the. I would prefer to have a place to hide. That is my natural instinct. Somewhere where I can.
So maybe the Forest of Worms.
But then,
I-
if we get caught in the forest of worms, it's the potentially the low. If we have a place to hide, but then if we are found, that is potentially the most dangerous of the options.
You could
I
go
would-
through
I
the
would-
Snake
It's the
Snake
highest
Hills.
risk, highest reward.
It might not even be the. It would be the quickest and the easiest
Oh, the
until
Serpent.
it's not. No, the forest of worms would be the quickest until it's not.
The Serpent Hills have things like valleys you could hide in between each of the hills.
Mhm.
But that is where the UNT are like to come out of.
The information that we've gathered is that they have a quite massive labyrinth directly underneath there.
I would prefer to avoid the quite massive labyrinth of the snake people if possible.
Will would be more than happy to go to the Forest of Worms where he grew up, so he's okay with that, and maybe mom can
I think that might
provide
be.
moral. help.
Maybe mom
maybe.
is the dragon.
Maybe
You're
the,
half dragon.
Write that down. Write that down. Me as a DM.
we were all the dragon all along. The dragon was in us all, inside us all along.
The dragon was the friends we made along the way.
Exactly.
So dragon parts go for big money.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Now he's gonna kill Belladonna's best friend and your mama.
Oh dear. I
Well,
think,
he's half
Wait,
dragon.
is
We'll
my-
kill him too.
I think
How
I
did
would.
my-
Go ahead.
No, I'm half dragon. Interesting.
Oh, yeah, we are now.
Yeah, I
Apparently.
guess so.
Next time you burp.
Add that to the backstory.
Oh, level 6.
So, did everybody pick a magic item yet?
No, I'm
I
still
have-
torn between the cloak.
I'm gonna
and
get
the-
the
and the
I'm gonna get the
mantle.
ring of evasion.
I'd
I
go
think
for the
if-
mantle, I think.
I think the spell resistance, especially if we are going to encounter UNT likely,
Yeah.
we would probably know that UNT have some magical
Best
abilities.
if the cleric gets that protection.
Yes.
So you can heal us.
Alright,
Just in case.
mantle.
So
And
yes,
so
we've chosen.
I think a good
You've chosen?
Yep.
We're all
You
good.
guys got Damien the
We're good.
liar.
The
Yeah,
liar.
get the liar. I get the
Okay.
ring of evasion.
So let's go around, and I want each of you guys to read to the camera what it is that you just got. So let's start over with Arcturus and go around.
I got the immovable rod. It's an iron rod with a button. I can use an action to press the button, which magically fixes the rod in place until me or another creature uses an action to push the button again. The rod doesn't move, can hold 8,000 pounds, and a creature can use an action to make a DC 30 strength check to move the fixed rod up to 10 feet.
Okay, and then Lux.
Lux has chosen the Mantle spell resistance. What this will do for me is give me advantage on saving throws against spells while I'm wearing the cloak.
Nice.
Rowena took the Iron Bands of Bolaro. It's a 3-inch iron sphere weighing a pound. I can use an action to speak the command word and throw the sphere at a huge or smaller creature that I can see within 60 feet. Ranged attack with a bonus, dex mod plus proficiency bonus. Target will be restrained. A creature can use an action to make a DC 20 strength check to break and destroy the item. On a fail, I can't retry for 24 hours.
No. If the strength if the creature fails, the creature
He's
cannot.
stuck.
The creature
For an
cannot
hour.
retry
Okay.
for 24 hours.
It's a one
Oh.
shot.
Write that down.
Nice.
For 24 hours. Yeah.
For huge or small?
Huge.
Is it a
And smaller.
one-use thing?
Huge,
Like it,
anything huge.
does
No,
It's
if a creature makes the DC 20 strength save and wins, they
Breaks.
break it and
Okay.
just destroy it.
And I just destroyed.
But if they fail,
Then they cannot
You're
retry
trapped
that
for the
check
next
for
day.
24 hours.
And can you go and release it when you want? The command word?
Yeah, just say the command word and she can let it go.
is there enough opening to?
So imagine
the
a
creature
three
inside?
3-inch ball trapping a huge
It's
creature.
like a Pokeball.
Pokeball.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Does anyone have Bane? Like, can
Bane
anyone,
would be
like...
cool. Bane
oh,
or
You've got Bane, right?
or Hex.
So you... Or
Another
Hex or
good-
Bane, you can cause them to, like, not...
Oh yeah.
I mean, put Bane on them, then it's going to
And
reduce
then throw
their saving throws.
Mhm.
Put it on it, and
That's
then...
fine.
knock it
All right,
back through.
Locke, what'd you get?
I got another dagger.
A dagger.
Dagger.
Is it
a-
slashing or piercing?
This one I will say is a slashing one because you want to create more surface area for the poison.
So just a dagger?
It's
Or
a
you want
it's
to
a
deliver it deep inside
is a-
somebody?
well, the dagger part's the only thing I care about, but it's a dagger of venom, so it's a +1 to attack and damage rolls, and then I can, as an action, cause thick black poison to coat the blade, and it lasts for 1 minute until I hit something. The creature must then succeed on a con save or take poison damage and become poisoned for a minute, and I can only do this once between dawns.
So one time during the day.
One, yeah.
And
It's still a +1.
Wilben, what did you get?
I've got the Ring of Evasion,
+1.
which requires attunement. The ring has 3 charges. Recharges 1d3 expended charges at dawn. When you fail a dex save, you can use your reaction to expend 1 charge to succeed instead. And as a meat shield paladin, that would be good because my dex is not
It's
fantastic.
kind of like the legendary action. I just choose to pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pass.
I
Yeah.
just passed it instead.
You failed. No, I didn't.
No,
I
I
don't
think I passed.
No, I
instead.
don't think so.
I think I
That's
passed.
awesome.
Only for dex saves.
Yes, only for
Yeah,
dex
we're
saves.
used to
but
having
it's-
our opponents change our rolls on us for us.
All right.
What
So,
we focus on.
oh, and
I understand it was an action.
Are we still talking to? We're still talking to Lemon. right?
Arcturus, what did you get for
Oh.
Damien?
We got Damien, the magical liar. An unattuned
You gotta look
creature attempts to.
Look up there.
Oh,
Okay, that's really good. Okay.
If an unattuned creature attempts to play it, they have to try to make a wisdom save or take damage. You can use an action to play and cast a spell. Each spell can only be used once until next dawn, using your ability saves and DC. Targets have disadvantage to save against being charmed, although I don't think there's any charms on this. But the spells are Fly, Invisibility, Levitate, Protection from Evil and Good, Stone Shape, Wall of Fire, and Wind Wall.
Holy
Awesome.
shit!
Incredible.
And each of those is you can do once.
That's
Pretty fucking
That's so
In addition to all
OP.
your spells.
yeah, that's so
Yeah.
many spell slots.
Okay, so you guys are still talking to Lennon?
Yep.
Okay, so she says, well, those are some interesting choices you guys have made. Hopefully they come in handy and help you acquire this first piece that I need from you. I would expect that the retrieval would be quicker than later. I understand that speed isn't of the utmost importance. However, it would be preferred to be sooner than later so that I can try to get you started on the next session. Questions?
When we get to the marsh, we'll look around. Are we going to be digging? Are we going to be sifting through muck?
You
All
can
of the above.
you let me know when you come back with it. I'm not quite sure about that part.
is the belief that it is in some kind of a space where it has been kept, or it was like a temple of some kind, or a god, or some kind of guardian, or just we just know that it is in this vague area?
We know that it's in this area. Well, the best we can tell, it's in this area. Whether it's at the bottom of one of the lake parts, or if it's, a tree is growing around it, we don't know. Well, if a creature has found it as they're protecting it, these are the details that we don't have. However, we have given you all the information that we do have about getting there and what it is.
Lemon, I've got 2 questions.
Of course.
Number 1, can we assist in finding the other pieces, perhaps with some contacts we have at Candlekeep, as they've got good research departments there? Or should we just expect you to be able to get all the
We
remaining
can't tell
pieces?
Candlekeep what we're doing,
No, I
Well,
know. I'm just asking.
but we could research the
No,
geography
yeah.
and
Is everything going to be
Well,
done for
not
you?
not anybody can just walk into Candlekeep and do research. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but it requires pretty
his dad lives there.
a pretty important entry fee to get in there. You're saying your dad could give us unlimited
I'm not-
access to research there?
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, well, he said your dad was there.
He didn't. So Lemon, I will speak for my dad. I don't believe that's possible. If it were, I mean
That would be extremely
fantastic.
valuable for us.
Now, it might make sense to find out. However, we don't want to give away your mission, and as you said,
Well,
this is
Trust me,
extremely.
the monks there are very good about keeping confidentialities.
So Lemon, here's a so.
Trust me,
So
I'm
two-part
quite
mission then.
I'm quite familiar with Candlekeep.
So, do you think that if we were able to get access, there would be somebody there that could help with the research?
I'm hiring this adventuring team to do the adventuring work. I have researchers doing the research work.
That's all I wanted to know. And if we decide to go the south route, which I think many of us are saying that's the way to do it, would you be able to possibly get a message to somebody near Candlekeep for us? I do have my father in Candlekeep right now. That there was an adventure party to go and help him. I do not know the status of that. Do you think you have your
I believe
contacts
that
would be able to help us?
I've already prepaid you handsomely. If you guys haven't received the payment from the Yawning Portal, as well as giving you access to these items, I think has been far more help than most adventurers would get prior to a mission as
Lemon,
well.
please do not get us wrong. You are absolutely the most amazing and generous host I think I've ever had in my life. So
Absolutely.
please do
Should
not.
we return
please-
these items? Should we finish the quest?
If you return with the item that is requested, keep these as bonuses.
Fantastic. Okay. That's all I had. That's all the only questions I had.
And anything we happen to stumble upon along the path, should we register it with you, or might we just keep it for ourselves?
My understanding is adventurers keep what they find, minus what your actual goal is to retrieve to me.
Minus the commissioned object.
Of course. I just wanted to be sure we'd be on the right side of the line.
Lemon, if we find the sorry.
When?
When we find the object, and we have a clue to the second, where the location of the second object is, may we go and retrieve that before we bring the first one to you?
Oh no.
Or would you prefer us to bring the first?
Bring me the item.
Okay.
I would hate for it to get lost while you were
Right.
trying to retrieve a second one.
Also,
Understood.
maybe once
Well
they
then.
have the first item, it'll help them determine the location
Well
of the
then.
pieces.
Once you return with that item, by that time, hopefully we'll have enough information to lead you towards the second.
Well met.
With that, then I will expect you guys to leave in the morning.
Rest assured, the A team is on it. We will not fail you. I guarantee that.
Guaranteed. By
Guaranteed.
Arcturus of the 18.
I'm gonna put the immovable rod in my pocket and accidentally click it on.
I think he's happy to see you.
Mr. Arcturus, You might need to press the
I'm glad we
button
didn't give him the
again.
dagger.
Oh, my bad.
There you go, sir.
Thank you.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you back in 2 weeks for the next session of Bloodlines and Power.
Boy.
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Oh boy, we're gonna get.